Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. In this episode, I'm going to present this early idea that I'm thinking. I always wanted to do this, hence the name of live noding. There is this term called live coding that's used by programmers, musicians, whenever they do like a coding, but then they're doing it live because with music you can have like a rhythm and beat. It's kind of interesting how they just type codes and then the codes can turn into like music beats, and then there's even like more advanced version where the music beats kind of connected to the visual. I always want to do that using Blender and live noding, although it's not like 100% possible because sometimes it's not like real time and sometimes there's like lag, and Blender doesn't really produce sound or music or beat. But maybe at the very basic you can use animation nodes and then kind of use like a pre-recorded music and then just use the waveform for it. I don't know it yet, but here I'm using this app called Sonic Pi. Okay, this Sonic Pi has some kind of a system where that's allowing you to do loop very easily. Like if you just type like simple code like this, live loop, call the live loop fleable and do a sample of BD house rate 1.2 and do a sleep for one unit, and then if we run it, it's doing this. It actually sounds much better if I use earphone. It's like a real boom boom like that, and I can make it faster and slower. I just rerun it and then it's kind of live. I can change the parameter and it's changed once I execute it. I can even add like another sampling of music. In this case, it's ambient choir. This is actually provided with the example here. If you use reverb, even sounds a lot nicer. Let me try doing that real quick. So with effects, reverb, do this below and then end it and then run it. Now it has some kind of reverb. I can add like a play, like I can even do like a random. And the ambient choir, I can make it like super slow. Reduce like the amplitude. Yeah, actually, and most of the time, like live noding, the programmers don't talk too much. I'm not like a real programming. I'm kind of half. I'm doing a little bit of coding, and then I want to do the noding part. So I don't know. At the moment, everything's still a little bit abstract. I don't know whether this is gonna work. But this is one of the example that I did. It's just using grease pencil, and then this guy is just generating this line. Everything should be like a kind of looping, and then there's a little bit of variations. What would be nice is to be able to kind of connect the music with what I'm doing here. Actually, of course, and that's not always possible, but we will see, because there's a Python for Sonic Pi, although it's gonna generate sounds at certain beat. Yeah, it's still like an idea, but anyway, let's start somewhere. Currently I have this grease pencil and then particles, and then this guy is generating this over and over again, but you can see already the idea is really we're gonna have some kind of loop. Okay, loop is the first thing that comes in mind, just like the beat. So there's like a, just imagine if you I also use this app called Korg DS, I think DS10 on my iPad, originally on the Nintendo DS. This thing have like a 16-bit, 1 up to 16. This is 8, I don't know, 4 or 5. Anyway, this is in between this 12. Anyhow, this is like a beat, and you can add more in between. And this is quite interesting. I found this thing also have like a touch. They call it a chaos oscillator. So you can drag your mouse and then drag your finger over this chaos, and then it will drive the speed, the intensity, and then all kind of musical stuff. That's yeah, basically the first principle you need to know is loop, and I think the second one is fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out. They also have this thing called ADSR, kind of this is attack, delay, and then I forgot what is this, but basically for every sound, sometimes the sound just appear and then it's slowing down, like not like the amplitude goes down. Similar to kind of animations, you have like a slow in and then hold and then slow out. You can kind of control sound that way. So it has, this is S, I think, sustain, and then R, oh, what is R? I can't remember at the moment. So attack and delay, and a sustain is kind of hold. So if you have like a, this is like a bouncing ball. If you hold the ball somewhere here, you're kind of holding it and then jump again. So it gives some kind of variations to the music. I kind of want to turn all these into like a visual kind of medium. See, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but so this is pretty much improv thing. Anyway, I'll start with the grease pencil stuff that I did. I found that to be quite interesting. Just a new SphereChop and then import here, and then get the from my library. SV.json and then GP in sensing light. I did this in the previous live noding. So you basically you prepare with like a grease pencil stroke, just draw something. So I'm drawing like a spiral kind of eyes, and then just a crazy mouth, and then by refreshing I get this. Okay, file, save as, this is a GP Rave, let's call it grease pencil Rave. Although we don't have any music yet at the moment, but you can see it's creating something, and I can do it, run it for 100 frames, and then we know that normally the time frame will kind of loop after a certain time that you specify. Okay, this thing we can actually use as a like a beat as well. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this is 50. I think every let's say every 50 we have like 5 times 50, so we have 250 in total. So we can use that as our medium if we really want to time it. So yeah, at the moment it's not doing anything. Let me turn on the points. We can animate all kind of parameters that you can change on the fly. Will become something that you can use for the live noding. That's what I found. So you don't need to build everything from scratch, but you can keep adding nodes to it. So like in this case, it's just gonna generate this and that, and then you can maybe loop it, or You can loop it in a way that is kind of like ping pong, or loop it in like over and over again. Let's try doing that real quick. So what's the maximum step in this case? So we have like numbers that need to deal with. This is 150, okay? Because we sampled, I think I sampled it 50, and each one is 50, 50, 50, so 150 in total. I can actually use my own time frame here and use a map range. So time from maybe 0 to 50 goes from 0 to 150, and keep doing that. Currently it doesn't work because it's expecting the integer, so let me stop that first. Float to integer, and let's run it again. See, it's building up, it's growing, and it's actually stopped because I didn't loop the time. I forgot. Just use some math, and then the way we loop it inside the node is just by using this double slash slash. That's because I think I'm pretty sure this is supposed to work, but maybe I need to check it out first. What's going on? Current frame and divided by, maybe I'll try smaller value. Oh, I forgot. This is not for the. This is actually for the time tick. I forgot. We need to use modulo for this. Modulo 50. Now it's gonna be looping properly. Sorry about that. So now it's gonna do the growing up to 50, and then cut, and then back to the original. So this is the first type of loop that we can do. You can also do like a ping pong type, like with a ping pong, you either use the like a sine wave, or you can use like a linear kind of wave like that. So this is going to be looping every 50 frames, and we can definitely use this with and time it with our, let's see, with this guy. It just sounds better with a with a sound. Of course, it feels better with a. I don't know. Let's stop that for now. Let's see. Instead of doing it like this, we want to use sine wave here. Math, sine, and then min max become -1 to 1. So it's doing this. It's too fast at the moment, but you can use another math and slow down the time. So we have like the main time running right here, and we have like a actual like another times running inside Spreadshock at the moment. We can use animation nodes too at some point, but animation nodes sometimes slowing things down. So this is we should be really careful though. It might crash Blender sometimes because this is not what it's meant to be. When the first version of Spreadshock was out, it can't even do animations. It's really for like procedural modeling, parametric kind of design. Yeah, so that's working. If you don't want to join the mesh at the moment, they are like joined. So the mesh goes, it's running through all my strokes. We can actually cut it, and we can jump from here directly, and then this can be plugged there. So now it's doing the animations on all of them, I believe. Let me change this to 50. So this is the second version. This is actually much better. It's more interesting. And I can kind of, with my grease pencil, I can add more lines. Yeah, it's gonna generate the lines. It's gonna doing this kind of fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out. It's probably kind of stuck there at the moment. Maybe we need to clamp it somewhere. Clamp. It's not too bad. At the moment, it's actually generating this on the fly, and you can change it so that it's not like a kind of repetitive. We can change the seed every like every click. Like that's now become like that. We can change the seed, you know, and then make it slightly different. And then each time it can do this random variations. There's also like another concept we can use. Seeing like a stroke and then dots like that, it reminds me of a work by Amit Pitaru. He used I think he used Adobe Flash, and I don't know what other program he used for this, but he basically created a system where you just draw something in 3D space, and what happens is it's gonna sample this line back and forth to create kind of sound, interesting sound. Actually, I actually tried to create this using Blender. It's quite possible. I have not turned it into sound yet, but it's with a intersect, and then imagine if there's like a plane, and then you make it goes through like a bunch of grease pencil. It's gonna intersect at some point, and for each intersection you can assign some kind of sound, and that might also be interesting. I have not tried that. So let's get back to this. I think I lost my my stroke there. I'm just gonna write, I don't know, some kind of funny writing. So you know, this kind of a back and forth motion is a start. It's a start for something. You can control. You can actually control the stroke individually if you're really keen on it. At the moment, they're like drawing it at the same time. Not the most interesting, but it's definitely something. Maybe we can write a blend or something. PS draw my snail thing. Okay, so it's doing that. Not so interesting, but we can use the edges to maybe to generate particles. Let's use BMS MK2 and then plug in the vertices, just the vertices. Now, for each stroke, it's actually generating a particle system. We can do it individually. So for this guy, I generate one particle system, and then I'm gonna emit it from the first. So it's actually that guy. I can turn off the gravity. And use first random start and 250. You can see it start to do something interesting. Pretty interesting, not too much. Add a little bit of Brownian. add some noise, damping maybe. Yeah, at this point maybe it's no longer real time, so that's the only problem actually with this. But you can see the potential, right? Before I start this, I actually made a, the example that I did earlier. So with this one, maybe I call it like a crying spiral. I call this system. This one is fairly fast. Create a particle system and emit from vertices. See, it's doing something, and you can just Brownian and turn off the graffiti maybe, and then add a force. Maybe I need to emit more particles. 5000 and start and 250. First random. I can control the turbulence. It's almost like music visualizations, but not quite. Once I use like a proper music, it's gonna be more interesting. Maybe I can increase the speed of this guy, like 0.7. If I time it just right, should be more interesting. Maybe I can like randomize the color as well. There's a lot of possibilities. I can do instancing on this guy. In reality, maybe this is already a little bit complex. I should start with like just like a cube and just doing it like like that kind of motion, pow, pow, pow. Like for every breath, the objects can do this, or perhaps I have not tried this, but you could just turn this guy, like randomize it each time, each beat, just give like a different sound, and then change another beat, and then it's quickly changed and fade into another form. That gives kind of a spontaneity, like but this is still all like just a concept idea I'm trying to do. We're gonna try it at some point, and maybe when I start doing it properly, I will not be talking. I'm just gonna use like music and then make these guys changing form and on every beat. I'll show you what I mean, like objects in. So I'll get selections and then viewer draw. I'm gonna draw this guy. Random. Actually randomize input vertices. This is a classic example because the node does so much. So imagine if this thing's running. You see that kind of time click. This actually I can make it like loop forever, like make it 2500 frame or 10,000 frames, so it doesn't really loop itself. But I can make it short. It's a Actually, it doesn't matter. If I give my own time here, and then this, with the seed, I use the math and this guy, I can loop it. I can make like a tick. So at the moment it's doing it every time. I can still too fast. That's actually better. Sometimes it's a little bit off, maybe 11. Actually 12. Yeah, that's another idea. Can change this to Suzanne. It's a little bit slower. That's because Suzanne is a bit heavy. Anyway, that's yeah, that's pretty much what I want to show you. It's kind of like the early idea on this live noding rave that I'm doing. Maybe for the next few videos I will do this, or maybe in the future, I don't know. Anyhow, if you have any feedbacks, question, and yeah, you just leave it down below. I'll answer. If I'm not wrong, there's a software called Touch Designer. It's like Houdini, but it's more for music, and it's actually for this kind of thing, for visualization. Touch Designer is super expensive though. It's like 4-digit price. I don't know, maybe 4,000, 5,000. But it can do this kind of live visualization. There are also a few other apps that cost like hundreds of dollars. Maybe it's worth doing it, but really, Sonic Pi is really good, and Sonic Pi, and I'll use Blender and Spreadshock, maybe animation nodes to do this. Should be sufficient for now. I'm not gonna be doing like a rave party anytime soon, but anyhow, I'll see you in the next video.